All right, thanks for staying with us on Blitz. I'm Brian Carter. With me now on the show, a couple of the Lady Warriors from the state championship team. We have Stephanie Satterfield, the senior star, home run hitter, and phenomenal pitcher, and then also the phenom pitcher, Callie McDonald, a junior on the team here. Let's start out. Just try to put into words, if you can, what it feels like to win a state title.
Well, it's honestly hard to put into words, but it's amazing. It's awesome. There's plenty of words you can put on that, but in the last inning when Mojo made that play, I stood there and I just stood there. I couldn't even move because I was just thinking, is this really happening? Is this really real right now? But it's really hard to put into words because it's so awesome.
Callie, what about you?
When Mojo made that last play, I just grabbed onto Stephanie because she was the first person I saw, and I just started crying. It was probably the most indescribable feeling I've ever felt.
Now, one of you, it doesn't matter who, just for the audience, describe that last play, what happened, and that way they have an idea.
It was a ground ball, and it was pretty much a routine ground ball to third base.
Oh. So you were you at first base at that time?
Yeah, I was at first base.
Okay, so what did it feel like making that?
I was waiting. I was just like, please be a good throw. Just, oh, please let me catch this ball.
Now, you've had a phenomenal career, both of you have at this point, but Stephanie, you've been here all 4 years, and all 4 years you made state. You made the Sweet 16 the first year, round one the last 2 seasons, and finally a state title. You've won just about everything you could, all area team, all region team, numerous Player of the Year awards. What's it feel like accomplishing all that, also tying a state record and breaking school records? How surreal is that to be able to do all that?
Well, it's obviously really cool to be able to accomplish everything, but I've always wanted to go to Columbus, and I mean, I've never thought that we could actually be, state champions till this year, and I've obviously always wanted to win, but just to make it to Columbus, that was my goal this year, and we did it, but we won it all, which was even better.
All right, Callie, how about you take this next question? Speaking of goals, look at the beginning of the year. I mean, obviously now you see your state champions, you're number one. It would be hard to predict something like that at the beginning of the season. Talk about what your expectations were as a group, as a team, going into the year.
What we all talked about was being region champions and winning the first round of state, and it was because we've never even won a round in the state playoffs before, and it was like once we did that, then we were just going all the way.
Stephanie, you have anything to add to that?
Nope, she covered it all.
Okay, now Stephanie, you are now officially the Homerun Queen in the state of Georgia. You entered a 3-way tie. You had 16 home runs on the season, so your name is up there in the history books. Talk about how awesome that must have been to hit such a monumental home run in the state title game, which is a monumental game in itself, and then that being the difference in the game as well, a 12-11 win.
Well, at the beginning of the season, my dad was telling me how there were 16 home runs a girl had, and I was like, oh, well, I'm going to beat that. And I've never been like a huge home run hitter. I was just, hit the ball. And I was like, oh, I'm going to beat that. I'm going to beat that. And then I started hitting at least a home run per game, and I was like, I'm going to beat this. And I was really surprised, I was actually going to beat it. And going into state, I had, 12, And I was just like, this is going to be hard to do. We only played 4 games, and I was like, and I still got to get 16. But when I hit that last home run, I was like about to cry going around the bases because I was like, I just tied the home run record.
I was actually about to ask you what your feelings were the moment you hit it, knowing that you still had to finish that game out, and the bigger goal would probably be winning state. Probably put that above your home run title, but then just your emotions going into that. But Callie, I've heard rumors about the team. I guess a little tradition you started putting on some tattoos or something like that. I guess they're just the fake tattoos or whatever. But talk a little about that little tradition the team started and how that works and how you were able to get Coach Brown involved.
At the beginning of the season, one of the first few games, I think it might have been the North Hall game, we all went to Zaxby's and got a bunch of those really metallic-y temporary tattoos, and we put them on our forearm, right there. And we did really good and won that game. And it's always good to beat North Hall. And so after that, it just became like a tradition. We're pretty superstitious, all of us are. So every game after that, every single one of us had to do it. And Doug had to take a picture of us every single game. And during the region tournament, we begged Coach Brown to put on one. And he finally agreed that if Coach Collins wore one, that he would. So all our coaches wore them too. But we had a big pile of tattoos, and I still have a big pile at my house.
Now, Stephanie, again, you had a very storied career here. You have to be satisfied, I guess, at this point, the way everything turned out, going out on top. Not many people get a chance to do that. What are your college plans look like in pursuing softball?
I'm verbally committed to Georgia Perimeter right now. I'm not really sure when the signing date is, but I'm thinking it's pretty soon. But I'm getting a full ride to go there.
Okay, now, Callie, you still have another year. So the question I'm going to ask you is, Stephanie is just one of the 2 seniors leaving. So you have a very solid nucleus of players coming back next year. So a good chance to at least make state again and still go deep into the tournament and have a chance to win state again. Talk about the chances there and also just the group of girls you have to work with, because obviously there's a lot of good chemistry on this team.
I've played with most of the girls in the team, or every single one of them other than the 2 seniors, since I was like 9 years old. And we all have really great chemistry, and we love each other very much. And I think that we have a really good chance to go really far again.
Well, girls, thank you so much for taking time to be with us here on the show and bringing the trophy along with you. And congratulations on winning state. I know that has to be an incredible feeling.
Thank you.
Now, when we come back, we're going to hit the phone lines. We've got Union County softball coach of the Lady Panthers on the phone to talk about them losing in the state finals to Buford.